Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Mars, just Mars. But it's more than just that. It's kind of a unique series. This is a series, yes. It is from National Geographic. It is from 2016. It's one season, but it's kind of spread out. IMDb says it's all the way through 2018. There's only 7 episodes. It lasts 2 years. That's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know how it aired or if it's completely here. I don't know if it's fully on Disney Plus yet. But this is, when you think of National Geographic, and they have, by the way, many documentaries about Mars and space travel and NASA and all sorts of things. And we've seen many, and there's many more to come on Disney Plus. But in this case, they have done, of course, a documentary, but it's also a drama. Yeah, there is this. When we first stepped into the first episode, and I only watched the one episode out of the 7, and it starts out in 2033. It's in the future, and we get to see the makings, the final moments of the crew of the first manned space trip to Mars, the final moments on Earth as they launch, make the trip, and attempt to land. And it's not a USA kind of thing. It's not a NASA necessarily kind of thing. It is space programs from all parts of the world. It is an international space program that is going to Mars. It's a made-up community for now, made-up organization for now, and you get to see this through the eyes of the people that, again, they're fictional characters, presumably would be what you see what they're dealing with in making the choice to get to Mars. It is incredibly dangerous. It is incredibly intense. It's potentially deadly. To literally move these people, not just to a moon nearby, somewhat nearby, relatively nearby, but to another planet that currently cannot sustain life. You can't just take off the suit and walk around. It's not necessarily made for us, but the reason why we're going there is because it is the closest planet to Earth, and it has been around pretty long time, and at some point we kind of know that there used to be a better atmosphere and potentially water, and when there comes to be water, it means that there could have been life. However it may have existed, life was possible as we know it on Mars. So that's kind of a big deal. And so a lot of people go, oh, why are we doing this? We can't even take care of our own planet. We're not even doing crap for that. We're just ruining. Well, part of the reason is that we might need this other planet at some point. We might need another place to live. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not 50 years from now, but the way things are going, we just might need an alternative in some way to perpetuate the human race, even if it's just a few dozen or a few hundred people. It's harrowing to think about, but you never know. In this drama, though, we get to see the interviews with the crew members, actors, crew members who are talking about what they're leaving behind, what they're going for, what they do, who they are, and it adds a level of depth and emotion and humanity. Because a lot of times when we get these documentaries about Mars and space travel, it's all about the spaceships. It's all about some of the people who are creating the science behind propelling these massive machines into space with or without life. The people who are on the ground here on Earth, in the JPL and SpaceX and NASA, of course, all over the planet, and we get to see just from those speculative points of views of like, this is what we're going to do. This is what we are trying to do. And in some cases, we don't get to see we don't see the fruits of the labor now. So this dramatic part of the it's a docu-series and dramatic series at the same time. I'll get to that in a second. What we get from these dramatic moments is the culmination of all that work, both back on Earth and in the ship heading to Mars. And it creates an emotional pull, an emotional angle to this that a documentary on its own would seem redundant. That is not to say there's not a documentary in here. Once we get to a certain point in the story in 2033, suddenly it jumps back to 2016, and we get to see experts in the field of all levels, whether it's people who work for NASA and such, or who have worked in the sciences to get, create the means to get even just the rovers to Mars that we've already sent. But we also get Elon Musk. And whatever you think about Mr. Twitter or not right now, I hope that becomes a dated reference. But whatever you think about him right now, SpaceX, regardless of how much he's even involved with them anymore, I don't even know. I mostly tune him out. But the people of SpaceX have been and are working their butts off to create something, and they are literally a few minutes down the road from me. I've driven by SpaceX so many times. It's I finally got to see the inside of it now. It's kind of neat. There's lots of large spaceship parts in there. So yeah, it's a pretty cool place. It's in Hawthorne, California, by the way. Just off the 105. So if you're heading to LA at some point, just get on the 105, head right out of the airport, LAX, and it'll be on the Crenshaw exit. Just look right there. You'll find it. Head south and you'll pass right by it. Anyway, it's next to an airport. So yeah, it's the people who are working there today are working to successfully launch rockets, manned and unmanned, at the moment unmanned, and get things into space more successfully than any other rocket company to date, I believe. I could be wrong. That may have changed since 2016. I don't keep up with everything. Yes, I'm a geek. I'm a nerd, but I don't know everything. So, but yeah, so we get a lot of, get an info dump from a lot of people, Elon and Neil deGrasse Tyson, and there's so many other people in this. My brain this is mostly focusing on some of the some of the actors in this list. Stephen Petronak, he's the author of How to Get to Mars or something like that. That seems like that. It's known for Mars and Ancient Aliens Ancient Aliens. Stephen Petronak. And also the man who wrote, there's a different man, I can't find him right now, but the guy who wrote The Martian, that was made into a movie starring Matt Damon. So yeah, so there's lots of, it works surprisingly well. I didn't expect it to. I expected it to be kind of dry, dramatic moments that are just sort of mechanical in their purpose and explaining how things would work. Sort of like, those reenactments of crimes that you see on certain, crime shows, where they just get usually bad actors to pretend to murder each other or have a domestic violent fight that goes wrong or worse than they expected, that kind of stuff. But no, these are actors, by the way. You'll probably recognize a few of them. I couldn't say, oh, that guy, yeah, he was in this or that, but I recognize a few faces in this cast. So you might as well, if you've watched enough movies and TV shows as I have. So you get people. It's an international sounding cast from all the accents, and it's different people. It's not just old white guys going into space, and that's all right. It's international. It's also the future. If we start going back to just old white guys in space, actually they weren't old when the first ones went into space. Buzz wasn't old. Anyway. We get a nice heaping bit of drama. Some of it's a little overly dramatic in some of the delivery of some of the lines, but yeah, you kind of have to expect that because it's interacting between human characters, not just icons, people who are not icons yet, let's say. Even the moment, there is a moment, yes, I'm gonna spoil this because it kind of would be a short series if they never got to Mars. So they do successfully get to Mars. What I found strange is they did not make a humongous fanfare or a humongous focus on the first steps, like we did with the moon and, one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind. They didn't do that for these characters. Because I think I'm realizing it now as I'm about to say it, that if this had any longevity, and if we ever look back on this series at the time when we eventually do get to Mars, when we get to Mars, don't want to taint it. Don't want to say, oh, they did it better here. Don't want to, oh, they just ripped off the speech that guy did when he stepped onto the Martian surface. I don't know. I mean, it's inconsequential, but you kind of, the drama in that moment is still present. It is still, I literally just, when I realized they were just letting the characters step out to the soil for the first time, the characters are realizing what they're doing. They are seeing something. And considering the distance of time and space, I should say, between our two planets, those two planets, there's a humongous delay in any audio or video that would be sent between Mars and Earth. So whatever is happening between the two is has already happened. It happened well after, it has happened well before anybody on Earth would ever see it. So yeah, it's kind of, it culminates, the first episode culminates in a moment where they are stepping out onto the planet, and it gets you. It gets you if you're into that kind of thing with space travel and things like that. I'm maybe a little jacked up after going to see Star Trek Picard series finale last week, but yeah, I'm in that zone right now. But so mixed with the drama and the facts and knowledge and the desire to boldly go where no one has gone before is from the people today, even Elon Musk. It's pretty cool. I actually am never going to have time to watch this on a regular basis, but I'm going to add it to my list. I didn't think I would. Just looking at it offhand, it's just, red planet image, just called Mars. What? It's a documentary and a series, in a dramatic series. It was, I didn't think they could pull it off, and they did. I actually enjoyed this. So yeah, I would highly recommend it if you're one of the people who keep track and enjoy this kind of stuff when it comes to space travel. Because while it is fiction in the future, it is reality today, and it's still something we are working on in the sciences, in just places we kind of forget in our day-to-day lives. These people are moving us forward in history. It's kind of a big deal. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
454.
454. Yeah, 4 something recently. No, it's been a while. 454. Come on, scroll. 454. Okay. Well, it's good that we saw the original. This is a sequel to a classic Disney film. It's good we saw the original. And I'm looking forward to following this up. I have a feeling I might have seen this when I was a little kid. Really little. But probably didn't click. So it's going to be like seeing it for the first time. And I treat it like it's my seeing it for the first time. We're going to be watching tomorrow. The Apple Dumpling Gang rides again. Nope. That is what we're watching. The Apple Dumpling Gang rides again with Don Knotts. I'm pretty sure he's still in this. And Tim Conway's in this as well. It's been a while. Anyway, that's what we're watching next on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye.